Hello again YouTube, Mad Dog here, welcome back to my channel. So tonight's little video I'm going to be showing all of you guys and lasses what goes into making my Mad Dog fire wicks. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So as you all know, I do sell a line of these products on my little eBay shop, and these are the Mad Dog fire wicks. I advertised them as being sold as 5 of in each packet, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, my maths isn't very good, so you know, you always get more not less. So getting into how I make these, so obviously you're going to need some cordage. Now whilst I'll give you some hints and tips, I won't give everything away here obviously, but what you will need, and the foundation for making a good fire wick, is the cordage. Here comes a rocket. Oh yeah, New Year's Eve. The cordage that you choose to use has to be 100% cotton. That is key and paramount in this, and I use 4-core 100% cotton material. I get it in lengths of about 15-16 inches. So once we've established our cordage, we need to dress it with an accelerant or fuel. So what I choose to do is, initially I get myself some petroleum jelly, Vaseline, whatever you want to call it, take said length of cordage, 100% cotton cordage, and get me a good couple of fingers full of Vaseline and just scrunch that up in my hand. Now another little key of making this a successful subject or item is don't overdo it and don't underdo it, if that makes sense. If you overdo it, the next process won't work, and if you underdo it, you'll lose the initial ignition. So I'm really scrunching that up, and don't be frightened of really working that Vaseline into the fibres of that cotton, so that when you've done, the actual cotton material will take on a wet appearance. So if I can just bring a clean one up for comparison. This might not, let me show against my old shirt here, but one is white and one is like a greyish colour, so it looks wet. That's just enough, and make sure it's coated evenly. You don't want it too cloggy with this stuff, and also the opposite where you've got areas that are not coated. So don't be frightened of really working it into the fibres and getting it right into them threads. Even undo the weave a little ways. It is a time consuming process. It isn't something that, like, I do everything out here, as you know, in the shed, handmade. I can't make thousands of these an hour. It literally is a time consuming job. So that's one piece prepped. Now I'm going to demonstrate with that one piece. I've got several here ready to go. So that's the basic petroleum jelly inner. Now I'm going to move on to this subject, which is the wax. Now I use wax, which is kerosene and paraffin wax mix. It's not cheap, quite expensive to buy in the prepared little like pills there, if you like. They're easier to melt that way. And through a lot of experimentation and a lot of trial, I also add a couple more ingredients to the molten wax, which, whilst they're not fumy and vaporous, I will say, so that these don't have a shelf life as such, it will improve the longevity of the flame given and the heat. I'm not going to disclose everything, because otherwise, you know, I'm giving all my trade secrets away. But as you can see in there, this is my pot. Wow, there's some ornaments going off tonight. This is the pot that I choose to melt my wax in. And as you can see, it takes on that pink, reddish pink tint to it. So what I'm going to do now is remelt that and show you what the next step of the process is. Stay tuned. Okay, so basically I'm going to take my pot of wax and ingredients along with a pair of pliers, and down the bottom of the yard I've got a chimney here which I've got lit, and we're going to put this into the coals of that fire just to melt the wax, then bring it back up here and back into the shed and put it back on this block, where we then obviously dip the cotton material into that wax, and we'll take it from there. Stay tuned. Okay, so as you can see, we're down by the chimney here that's well established now. I've got my pot with the wax and the mix in there, so I'm just going to basically put that into the coals, not directly in the flames but just to the side, so that it generates enough heat to melt the wax without setting that stuff on fire. So when that's all molten, we'll come back and have a look. Okay, so as you can see now, the wax mix has melted, and I'm going to take this up the shed now, get it back on the bench and dip our wicks into that. Stay tuned. Okay, so we've brought the molten wax back up into the shed, and I'm just going to give it a final twist back together ish, and then sink that wick into the wax. Give it a poke down there with a stick so it's all covered evenly. Just let the excess drip off into the can, into the pot, and then I'm going to bring you down here a little ways, and as you can see over here I've got an old, it's actually an old refrigerator but I use it just as a shelf cupboard now for other things. So I'll just hang that wick on a length of wire with some clothing pegs on there just to hold it in position, and until it cools. So basically that, just bear with me, pan you back up here a little way. So that is basically how I produce my Mad Dog Fire wicks. Once the wick is set, because the amount that I sell in these bags, I believe they're around 6.5, 7 inches, something like that. So out of each length of cordage I normally get 2 pieces. However, that being said, I cut and tidy up the ends, so there are some offcuts, some scrappage, you know, which are like these bits, the frayed ends and seconds. Well, I do keep them because although they're not pretty enough to sell, they still work, they're still effective, and I do include them into my little kits. Including, you may have seen this before already, but my Mad Dog monster, wherever it's gone at the moment, it's missing in action. Oh yeah, it's outside at the moment. I carry a small capsule, like a small waterproof EDC type capsule, and in there I keep small pieces, because obviously you can cut this into inch pieces, of this fire wick. Because it's waterproof, it works brilliantly once it's fluffed up finally with an edge, I'll say. Like any tinder, before you use these, you can use them with a cigarette lighter and they work effectively. If you burn them and hold them up, they behave like a candle. You have a tall long flame that burns down slowly for a long period of time. If you burn them laterally, you get a real hot flame that will burn the whole length of that wick, you know, giving you plenty of time to get your fire established. Or what I choose to do is cut them into small pieces and carry them in individual kits, but being large enough where I can hold them down and rip open the fibres finally into a bird's nest, which you should do with any tinder that you're going to throw a spark at. And they work then very, very well with a ferrocerium rod. So I'm going to close this video down with a quick little demo of that, and I just thought I'd share this one with you. I'm not sure if that's set yet. It's about there now. Still warm to touch, but it's getting there. It's about set. So as you can see, I'd trim that edge up and trim the bottom up a little ways there to produce the finished product like so. So I'm just going to go outside now and show you one of these little bad boys in use. Just a quick demo, and wrap it up at that. If you're interested in buying any of my fire wicks, like I've said before, they're all hand produced here in the shed. It's not productionised, so you know, each one of them I take care and pride in, like all my products that I make, and they are effective, and I do carry them and trust them myself. That's the only reason I sell these, is because I use them myself. If I didn't trust in them and believe in them, I wouldn't sell them, and that's the honest truth. So great little lightweight thin piece of kit to carry, and they're not expensive. You know me, guys and lasses, I don't charge the earth for these. If I was doing this as a real business, I would be massively out of pocket, because the hours spent in doing it, it just wouldn't be viable. Anyway, that aside, I'll cut to the next bit of video of actually using one of these, so stay tuned. Wish you all a happy new year, and I'll see you all soon. Mad Dog signing off. Yeah. Okay, so we're outside. We're just going to have a quick experiment with one of these Mad Dog fire wicks. I've got the Mad Dog Monster ferro rod there, and we're just going to demonstrate it being used with a ferrocerium rod. Stay tuned. Okay, so like with any fire tinder, what you really need to do with this stuff is smash it open at the end and open up the fibres. You need to make the surface area as large as you possibly can initially, obviously to catch a spark. And the same is said for any tinder, you know, any whether it be natural or man-made, pretty much everything that's fire lighting related, you need to open the fibres up. So take your time, don't rush this. Like any fire preparation, time is key here. It's all in the preparation. And then I'm going to just hold it down with the Mad Dog Monster, throw some sparks into that. And hopefully, as you can see, there we go. Oh no, missed on that run. Okay, there we go. Okay, so as you can see on a wet log, and this is a wet log, it's absolutely soaked. The fire wick's burning away happily. If you are to hold that vertically, you basically have created a candle. If you hold it linear, then the flame will travel the whole length of that fire wick and be very effective for fire lighting. Like I say, along with the Mad Dog Monsters and the strikers, I think I've just actually sold the last two monsters. I need to make some more of those, but the strikers are still available, the ceramic strikers. If you're interested in any of my products, please check out the link below to my little eBay shop. Go get yourself about 30 of them. But all jokes aside, you won't be disappointed. They're very effective, and if you want to get yourself a quick easy fire, I'm going to bring on some tinder here, which is also damp and marginal. This is the way to go. Dead simple, dead easy. Happy days. And these will burn for, weather dependent, between 6 and 10 minutes. happy days. Anyway, thank you all very much again as always for watching, and until the next time, which won't be long, Mad Dog signing off.